everyone. Hello and welcome to the episode number 63 at the Indie Football Podcast. It's been a while since we had last done this, but we are quite glad that we finally have someone called Quinton with us today joining us. And in case for those who are hearing us on Spotify, it's kind of sad because they won't be able to see the kind of preparation I came today, which is a scarf. I just waited till this moment to show everyone. And yeah, I mean, Quinton,
Yeah.
thank you for doing this. I will start off by asking you and your relation with Arsenal.
Thanks very much, guys, for having me. Very, very exciting to be on it. I am from, just to let you know, you can probably see by the shirt, but I'm from South Africa. And my ties with the Gunners go back, and I'm going to give my age away now, to 1989-90 season.
Yeah, that's
The good old George Graham 1-0 to the Arsenal, leading into the 2 years that Bruce Rioch was in charge, and then basically Arsene Wenger through the Invincibles up to the Arteta and trusting the process. So all Arsenal fans that are watching, you probably know we've been through a lot of ebbs and flows, not like the Man United supporters that had a glorious time during the 90s, but stuck by them through and through. And that's basically where my ties lie. From 1989, I was 9 years old at the time. Watched the game. We needed to beat Liverpool by 2 goals to win the league, and we did. And since that day, I've been a Gunner through and through.
Yeah, Anukar sir, I mean, we were just having this conversation before recording the podcast. After Liverpool, Manchester United, and then the third most popular Premier League club for us at our Indie Football Podcast has been Arsenal, right?
Definitely. I think even Real Madrid has been a close third, actually, if
Yeah.
you look at it when it comes to that. But yeah, Quinton, first of all, like I would like to say that that's the quickest time statistically. Someone has brought a frown to my face, a guest, talking about a Liverpool loss. But yeah, jokes apart, first of all, welcome to the Indie Football Podcast, man. And of course, like while we will be talking about Arsenal and a lot about you and what you do in general, it's great having you here. And of course, I'm sure fandom connects football fans to a whole different sort of happiness, a whole different sort of jeopardy at times, which words cannot define. But like all these years, which has been your favorite moment as an Arsenal supporter that you felt that you know after this, like you really felt inspired to you know be with that club. Like of course, like you answered that question about that win, but like that one player, that one moment, which just took it all away. That man, this is the club I want to support.
Well, since that's got to be when Arsene Wenger walked in the door, I must say, the way and the brand of football that he introduced to Arsenal. We might not have won the most trophies out of all the top Premier League teams and things like that, but the style and the play is always entertaining to watch, and that actually lives through Arteta right until now. But one unique moment that stands out, obviously the partnership between Dennis Bergkamp and Thierry Henry back in the day, but that goal that Thierry Henry scored with his back to goal against Fabian Barthez when he flicked it up and turned and he scored, to me was an amazing and something that stands up or out in my mind today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sorry, I just got
Yeah.
and tried to unmute or mute myself here because I was not quite sure if like
No worries, no
someone
worries.
comes in
Editing
and
for
out.
me, no worries.
Yeah, what I want to tell Quinton today is like it's 7:30 here at the UK Greenwich Median Time, and less than 10 hours ago, I had gone to meet a relative of mine who stay in Stevenage, which is like the next station from Finsbury Park, which is the last London Tube service if you want to go towards that North London part. And while coming back from Stevenage to Finsbury Park, like hardly a minute before you enter the Finsbury Park, you see the entire Arsenal Emirates Stadium right next to you, and that is what I saw today, like 10 hours ago. And I am someone who would pop up his camera, try taking a video or an image of things, but when I, because I did not expect that, when I'd gone to visit my relative last night, he did mention it, that the Arsenal stadium's nearby, you could see it in the morning. But when it suddenly came in, like in front of me, that colossal figure, I just felt that, like, it was a sight to behold, right? And like, for that, Quinton, I wanted to ask, have you ever visited the Arsenal stadium?
I haven't, unfortunately. That is one of my goals and dreams, and on top of the bucket list. Funnily enough, pertaining to Ultimate Champions, which we might chat about just now, they
Yeah.
actually arranged an Arsenal pitch event where we
Wow.
gave away random tickets to the guys playing our specific game this season. So in May, they got to play on the hallowed Emirates Field and play a football game. So myself personally,
Wow.
I've never been. My cousin was over in London, and he went to many games. He actually had a season ticket. He's even brought me back a program from the Arsenal versus Southampton match, the actual ticket, and then a Arsenal Southampton scarf as well, which I've got amongst my other Arsenal memorabilia as well. So that must have been. If I were you, obviously you were in the tube, correct?
Yes, I was in the
Yeah,
tube.
if we were in a taxi or something like that, it would have been stopped, even if the meter ran and you had to pay extra,
Yeah.
and taken a couple of shots and things like that, I'm
Let,
sure.
like, let alone a taxi, I was almost willing to just get out of the tube, if if there was a chance I could ever do that. But one thing that I wanted to ask before, like, we could go ahead, and probably even Anukar sir can chip in with this, is, did you mentioned about an Arsenal versus Southampton scarf, right?
Yes.
So does it have with the date attached to it, in
I
the
think it's got.
scarf?
I think it's got the date attached to it. That's correct. Yes, and then obviously the program and the actual match ticket that he had when he went to the game.
Absolutely, because why I ask this is, during my 1 week study trip here in the UK, we were hosted for a game between West Ham and the other team. I just forgot the name. The team that got 8-0
Sheffield,
last week
Sheffield,
against
Sheffield, Sheffield.
Sheffield. Yes, yes, Sheffield. So I am a big memorabilia collector when it comes to sports items. Like, this is the 11th, and I'm not kidding you, the 11th scarf I have got in the last 7 days. And mind you, some of these are, like, not cheap. If I go back home and tell my parents this is how much I have paid for this scarf, they'd probably kick me out. But one thing that I loved the most is, Anukar sir, I think this is something that might interest you as well, because you also have a Liverpool versus Real Madrid scarf, but I
Mhm.
haven't observed it. They also have the date behind it, just under it.
Yeah,
So I felt
yeah.
it's an extra bit of personalization for a fan who goes all the way to the stadium and really remembers it, right, Anukar sir?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all these things mean a lot. I mean, to be very honest with you, like, what I have learned down these years is that, like, about me, I would say, and the way to my heart and all these things is Liverpool stuff, for that matter. So, like, and that is for every football fan, because at the end of the day, we know that football fans, they follow their clubs like religion, like, for that matter. Like, and like, what we have seen is that at the end of the day, it's all about the beautiful game, how people love to talk about it and discuss about it. And at the end of the day, the football community also unites when some incident happens,
Yeah,
which seems really wrong against some part of the community. Like, I'll tell you something about Liverpool and Tottenham fans, for that matter. Like, there
yeah,
was a match, there was a lot of controversy regarding a Luis Diaz goal. Two incidents happened, one off the pitch, one on the pitch. One was, of course, you might definitely know about it, the Luis Diaz disallowed goal. So a lot of Tottenham fans in the Liverpool
yeah,
FC, under the Twitter page, they had written that, that, of course, repercussion should be there, because although Tottenham won, that goal should have stood and all. And it goes to show that, everyone is with the right sort of officiating in the game. Everyone wants to play a fair game. Now, another incident happened. There's this player, Destiny Udogi of Tottenham. Now, he was racially abused after the match, and that is something which should not
yeah.
happen in the game, especially in
Far from
2023, or
ideal.
at any
Yeah,
point for that matter. So, like, if I could go back in the past, we should abolish it, of course, right? But yeah, the thing is that, there were so many Liverpool fans or fans of different clubs down in the comments offering sympathy and saying that action should be taken, and that even if those guys call themselves Liverpool fans who racially abuse them, they should be banned from life or ever from ever visiting Anfield or watching or getting anything when it comes to any LFC membership or something for that matter. And that holds true because at the end of the day, it's beautiful how the footballing community unites for that matter. And I think these are the reasons when people ask us who do not watch sport that much that why do you follow the game? It's for moments like these. And definitely, so like we have talked a lot about the game. Quinton, like you told us about a different game altogether, the Universal Champions, right? For that matter. So give us a bit
Ultimate.
of an insight. Yeah. So give us a bit of an insight into that. Tell us a bit more about it.
So the game that I'm involved with now is called Ultimate Champions. It's a
Hmm.
cross league fantasy sports game. So the first game we brought in, or the first sport was obviously football. So Arsenal, Bayer Leverkusen, Wolfsburg are three of our flagship teams that are within
Hmm.
our game. And how it works is, I don't know if you know, in real life people collect cards. You know, back in the day, and
Yeah.
your Panini
Attacks.
cards and things like
Yeah.
that. Yes. So also collectibles and items. Now the cards that we play are what they call digital cards or NFTs. So
Of
they're
Oh,
course.
okay.
Yes. Yes.
that's correct.
I've heard about them. Yes.
That's it. So they're hosted on a blockchain, and basically they are within the game. So you as a player can own these specific digital cards and use them in your football fantasy team to score you points based on the live action that happens every weekend or during the midweek games, which is very, very exciting. The cool thing about Ultimate Champions is it is free to play. So you can join free, and start with a common collection and progress through the various divisions and tournaments that you can enter. Basically, we have over at this stage, and remember, we are only just over a year and a half old as a project. We have
Yeah.
over a hundred football clubs licensed within
Oh,
our
that's huge.
within our game, and you can basically earn or own or purchase those specific cards and play with them. And remember, we also have a marketplace and we have auctions that are going on each day as well, where people can actually
Wow.
bid on it. But the
Wow.
main goal, like we all do, we all love fantasy football, or not fantasy football, fantasy sports in general. My
Yes.
my passion has been all the different types of cricket. I think I mentioned to you off camera that I played cricket as a youngster growing
Mhm.
up, and any fantasy sports game from a teenager leading up to even the old man that I am now. I still enjoy playing and participating in that competition of trying to beat your peers, and trying to grow and build the best team or squad possible. To me, is very, very exciting.
Uh,
Interesting. Nice.
yeah, one thing that I have to add is, and I'm sure Anukar sir will remember, is what does blockchain first of all remind you of, Anukar sir?
Yes. So
Zishan.
blockchain.
Exactly. I just wanted to say that Quinton, you should probably go and check out. I think it was episode number 58. It was just
Hmm.
2 or 3 episodes ago when we had done this episode with a person called
Thomas
Zishan.
Gorma.
No,
We, after that, we
the
had
block.
like somewhere around that. Yeah.
Yes, I was speaking of the blockchain one where Zishan, someone who had joined us, a United fan, he did, and I'm sure, like, I think the second half of the entire podcast episode was more about him explaining us about the blockchain part and how it can be utilized in the sports industry.
Yes.
And apart from that, something that I'd like to share from my personal journey here in the last 12 months, and I'm sure Anukar sir remembers that as well, because Anukar sir has been a huge part of all my sports journeys, especially over the last couple of years. Is
Yeah.
I had done a college project with a sports broadcasting company called Quidditch, which I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you have heard about Quinton, but you have definitely seen their work, because they are the company that assist ICC with World Cup and major tournaments in terms of the buggy cams and additional field technical or digital representations. So while watching cricket, you must have seen that one of the frames is of the fielders being represented as dots and how it moves as
Yes.
and when the fielder moves. So that is the company that we had worked closely with for a project where they were trying to understand the metaverse, and they were trying to explore the avenues for a metaverse subscription model for a sports fan. What are the market gaps and all, which I feel is pretty interesting because, and I'm sure Quinton will have more to add on this, but Anukar sir, us being football fans, we definitely look forward to an era where we could probably digitally do things that are not physically limitations, that are currently physical limitations for us, right, Anukar sir? And we might be willing to pay for it as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, these sort of things, like, really revolutionize not the way just how we look at like things, and just like how we look at life also, because it opens the door to so many opportunities. And also, a good part about this is that because of our podcast, we have learned so many new things about so many new things in life, honestly,
Yes.
that I'm sure Doi and I are hit at the parties with a little bit of knowledge about so many topics. But yeah, of
Absolutely.
course, I mean, like, these sort of things, like, really give us an insight, because I remember back as a kid, like, downloading games, like, there was not that interperson, that real sort of experience. You used to either play on a PlayStation or something like that, and, like, games are becoming a lot more different at this point of time, and a lot more interesting. So, like, I'll tell you some one thing about myself. Like, I come from, like, it's not that I'm very old for that matter, though he often says that, but I come from the time when I used to play on my computer or like my laptop with a keyboard, and I like. Even in my college days, like, I was a pro keyboard player on FIFA, for that matter. So, I mean, these sort of things just change how, how the times have changed in just a few 1 or 2 decades, for that matter. And like, talking about how things change with time. You told us about Sachin Tendulkar, and bowling to him. And I think, if I'm not wrong, you are wearing a South Africa jersey or something along those lines.
Yes, yes. This is the combination of our three national sports, if I can put it that way. So obviously the rugby emblem is on it, which is with the World Cup that's currently ongoing in France. The Proteas, who's going to come to India very soon to lift their first World Cup,
Oh my
and
god,
and then
yeah,
and
that's a
then
big thing to
and
say.
yes, it is. And then obviously the football, our South African football. So it's all represented on the shirt that I'm using. Yes, but yes,
Interest.
coming back to Sachin Tendulkar, I was very fortunate as a youngster in my early 20s, obviously playing cricket all my life and playing club cricket at the time, that we got to spend 3 days with the Indian cricket team at St George's Park. I don't know if you've heard of St George's Park. It's in
Yeah.
Port Elizabeth, South Africa. We famous for the band that plays the music so loud and the singing, etc. And
Yeah, it's famous.
got to spend 3 days with the team, training with them, playing touch rugby with them, and the best of all, obviously, was bowling to them in the nets, and the great man Sachin Tendulkar as well, which is an amazing experience.
I know. I This is something that I thought of asking, but then probably Anuka sir would have told we are not running a cricket podcast. We are trying to football podcast. But then
No, no, please go ahead.
one thing,
Uh,
one
like,
thing that
before
I
you, in
have to
fact,
share.
answer, before you ask this
Yes,
question,
yes,
can I just say one thing? Because,
yeah,
like, I
sure.
saw how, when you mentioned the name of the stadium, though his eyes just lit up.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, though, like, no one follows cricket more than him, and, he has a whole blog about it. He has, like, written
Yeah.
terrific blogs about him. In fact, how me and Doipan met, like, how the love affair all started, jokes apart, it was all because of, how, when he introduced his cricket blog to me, for that matter. And, like,
Exactly.
like, he
Yes.
writes really well, for that matter, and cricket is something which really appeals to him. So I, like, saw a little smile on his face. And one thing I would say before, like, Doipan asked this question, if I were on your side, Quinton, Just for the story, I would have said that I took Sachin's wicket. Just for the story.
Look.
Who would have
I
known?
must.
Who would have known,
No,
Quinton?
no, I'm
Yeah.
with you. I must say, what I can remember is I bowled pretty decently to them, and they were very respectful in if you bowled a decent delivery and you beat them, etc. They would do that. The well bowled. They would say that and things like that. So it was really a great experience and a once in a lifetime opportunity for someone from South Africa.
One thing that I have to add is over here. Sorry, was it a